All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hawashai, Ba'ashem Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the elect pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, with the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hawashai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahawashi is the name of His only begotten Son. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the charagma written about in Revelation 13. The miracle drug is the precursor to the charagma. Yahawashi, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as it is written. Revelation declares that he may come and he may have many crowns upon his head, because he come for judge and make war. But in the churches, you're not going to learn these things of our Lord, because that's how the Lord is going to deliver his people out of this bondage that they're in. So we're into the time in which the Lord have raised up his servants to go forth before you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to tell you who you are, as is written in Isaiah 58. So we're supposed to cry aloud, spirit, not lift up our voice like a trumpet, and show the Lord's people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins. And this is what we are doing right now. We are declaring unto you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, in the place that it was said that you are not the sons of the living power, there it is being said to you so-called Jamaicans that you're Benjamites, to you so-called African Americans that you're the tribe of Judah, the 8th tribe, to the Mexican that you are Issachar, so on and so forth. We're telling the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans who they are, and letting it be known who is your power and what he's going to do in these last days. So it is written in 2 Ezra 15 verse 1, so behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. So this is what the Lord give us to declare. That's why it is written in Ezekiel 3, so eat this roll and go and speak unto Israel, the house of Israel, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Just as Habakkuk have said, write the vision and make it plain upon table, paint the vision and make it plain upon tables, because at the end, these visions, which represent the prophecies, at the end they are going to speak and not lie, meaning they are going to be made plain, meaning they are going to manifest upon the earth. As the scripture said, and it shall come to pass. This is what's happening now. These things are coming to pass. These words that were written aforetime for our learning, they are coming to pass, and we are seeing the effects of the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in the earth, pulling down the strongholds where the wicked have over our people for generation and unto generation, Now the Lord is removing that veil from off us to understand the truth, understand who we are, what's our purpose upon this earth, and to serve him, and declare unto the wicked their judgment on our Lord's arrival, Verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, because when the Lord rises us up to go before you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and before all these Edens, them are going to come with a lot of things against us, You see me? To pervert by the gospel, but the scripture tell us, so we're not supposed to be troubled. We're not supposed to be troubled, because that's their lot. The scripture tell us you got have scoffers in the last days, because the things I'm aware talk about, enough people don't want their world to come to an end. This world, and not talking the earth, man. The world, this system, this structure, this makeup, is going to come to an end. And the Lord is going to set up a new heaven and a new earth, which is going to be ruled in righteousness. And we're going to have a lot of people that are going to come up against these things that we are declaring, because them love this wicked world, But this is what the Lord I could bring upon this wicked world. So let's read this one more time. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that spake against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, yo. And that's what we're declaring. Whether you want to believe yes or no, the Lord's judgment shall stand. For behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And the Lord have various ways to get this done. So we are going to listen what's taking place around the world right now.
Canada's Justin Trudeau has done the impossible. He has turned a fringe anti-vax movement in Canada into a global campaign. Freedom convoys are popping up all over the world now, in Israel, in Belgium, America, France, Australia. There are two takeaways from this movement. Number one, it exposes the West's unscientific and arrogant temperament. And number two, it exposes the hypocrisy of Western leaders. Let me show you two sets of pictures. One is from Paris, the other is from the US. There was tear gas, there was intimidation, there were clashes. Do you know what was missing? The lectures on morality. Imagine if these pictures were from Baghdad or Cairo or New Delhi. Trudeau would have been rallying on Twitter. Joe Biden would have been lecturing from the White House. But in this case, they are in full agreement. The protests must end. If Canada's blockades are illegal, so are India's. If Canada can use the police to restore daily life, so can India. That is what the West must realize and accept. Canada's Justin Trudeau.
Alright, so as you hear, but this one say with the whole thing what take place, yo, all this is being manipulated and controlled by Esau Edom, yo. Isn't because Esau I gonna bring the chaos and him I gonna come with the solution for this chaos that he himself engineered, yo, even down to the famine. But this is the Lord's doing, yo. The Lord have created the wicked for the day of evil, yo. And right now Esau is doing exactly what he's supposed to do in these last days so that he may be judged. But you so-called niggers, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as it is written that the way of the wicked seduces you, yo. You not choose to turn unto your power, but you desire this world and what come with it, yo. That's why you're gonna be manipulated. That's why you're gonna believe a lie. Cause right now a lie is being told unto you, and you literally believe in it, yo. And you're literally following after the beast and worshipping his image. So due to the truckers over there in Canada protesting against these old mandates, these draconian measures, the leader over there in Canada enacted the state of emergency, in which I'm going to give him certain powers and him can restrict things and so-called rights from people, yo. One of the examples is him can make you unable to provide for your family by freezing your accounts. So people look on it as it's just like a hammer to the truckers. Wait, when civil unrest start, yo, because it's coming with the lack of food, with the hike in food prices, with the rising gas prices, this is coming, yo, because you can see the economy collapsing right around you, yo. You know, you don't believe that these measures is going to be enacted all around the world from all these governments, these states, all these corporations, because they're just corporations, yo. This is going to be the way or them are going to police and govern things, yo, by removing the so-called rights, declaring a state of emergency. Right now out here in Jamaica, we are constantly under curfew, yo, and they use the state of emergency as a where the leader said a crime fighting tool. But this is what's gonna come from these things, yo. So let's jump down to the meat of the matter. So this is 2 Ezra 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invaded one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And this is the time that we're literally heading into, yo. Because people don't understand, say, hey man, all these things were prophesied aforetime, and we're supposed to use these things that are occurring now upon the earth to measure the time, to know that it is high time to awake out of sleep. The scripture says, and knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. This is Romans 13 verse 11, yo. For our salvation is nearer than when we believe. Because the Lord is showing forth signs in the heavens and in the earth right now, but people are not taking note of what's going on. So let's go into this. Is 2 Esdras 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproar of the people in the world, and where you just hear the lady say, oh, these protests are taking place right around the world, yo. And this is not no coincidence, yo. This is Esau's manipulation tactic, yo, for control opposition, yo. And it's gonna get worse and worse as the days go by, yo. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that it is then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, meaning to make plain, even so the times also the highest of plain beginning in wonders and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs. And this is what we're telling you, yo. This is the Lord's doing in these last days, yo. So hope this was edifying for you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Perilous times are ahead, yo. Shalom.